Hello and welcome to the Seamlss webinar demo session today. I would love it for everyone to jump in the chat and put in any questions that you might have on today's session on onboarding and improving those processes within your firm. Today you've got myself, Clayton Wood, co-founder of Seamlss. I also have an award-winning accounting firm, which we built Seamlss to assist the firm because we're constantly onboarding clients. It was a challenge, it was very disjointed, and that was the whole point. I teamed up with Daniel, the other moderator for today and co-founder. We built Seamlss for you so that we could improve everyone's onboarding process. And that's what today's session is going to be all about. It'll be a bit of a demo, a webinar, lots of Q&A. Don't be shy to ask questions as we go along. We'll talk about what Seamlss is, how you can simplify your work processes, and also the experience for the client and those processes. And we'll go through some demonstrations on how that will work and how you can implement that in your firm. So all about Seamlss. So we're starting on the right-hand side here. Basically, you start with leads. So hopefully, if you do not have a lead tracking system, Seamlss has a great opportunity there for you to manage leads. Then from a lead, they'll come on, you'll onboard, you'll verify them, engage them, and then you can do that continuously. You can continuously engage, meet with them, and then collect the data. And that's just basically the circle of life with all your clients and that loop of engaging with your clients. So Seamlss, the goal of that is to close that loop and make it a lot easier. And we're constantly making lots of updates, and we'll talk about the updates later in today's webinar. Now, if you're not familiar with the Tim Ferriss's 4-Hour Workweek, it was very popular several years ago, but basically the whole point of it is to automate when you can eliminate and never delegate when it could be automated or streamlined. That was the whole point of Seamlss, is to streamline that whole process for your firm. I love the 4-Hour Workweek and the principle, and this is the principle here. So eliminate the actions that your team have to make, utilizing the tools within Seamlss, and you can also automate them. So some things like client smart links, you can eliminate the whole process from the start. With other items, you can automate it. So rather than going through different apps and different processes, you can do it all within Seamlss to go through the process within your firm. So a lot of firms currently it's very disjointed. It's over email. It could be paper. And it could be insecure. And the idea with Seamlss is to make it that one onboarding process for your client to go through the process of onboarding with your firm or re-engaging annually to confirm details and sign engagement letters and collect documents. And then I'm going to keep it fairly short because we're all busy. So that was just my intro. Let's jump into the demo here. This is Seamlss. So I've logged in using Xero, makes it really easy. This is the dashboard. On the left-hand side here, we've got the basic imported clients area where you can import clients from Zapier or lead links and things like that. And from here, you can either remove them or you can send them for an onboarding request. On the right-hand side, we've got the re-engagement part of the dashboard to see who's coming up and due for re-engagement. On the right-hand side down below, we've got the follow-ups. So you can send for SMSs, reminders, or you can remove them from the list altogether. On the left-hand side, this is where the admin tends to hang out. So they're going to action requests and complete the tasks when onboarding. Usually that area is very empty for me because my team just gets in there and gets it done. So it makes it really easy and fast. So let's start at the beginning of the process. So with a lead. So in firms, a lot of firms have no leads process or they're using Excel or something like that. Most firms have word of mouth as their main process for collecting leads. And can you still use Seamlss for that? 100%. So yes, you can use tools like Zapier to pull in the leads into your system. If they're booking in for Calendly, maybe they sign a proposal or they do something somewhere else and Zapier pulls that information in. But if they don't, Seamlss can still assist. So my recommendation, if you get a lead and you want to follow them up, you can just simply add them in, put in those details, put in a description of where you met them, what they were about, maybe come in on email, give it a value so that you can track that lead and where the prospect sits. So, you know, were they a high priority? Did they come to a webinar? How did you get that contact? Maybe it was from an email. And then you can put the source in there. add some tags, because the tags will allow you to sort them out and filter them later. And you can also obviously sit where it sits, whether you want to mark them off as pending and one, and you can allocate them to different partners. You will see that further down the track with Seamlss, we're going to continue to build out more partner manager capabilities within the system. So add the client, that will add them to the system, and then they'll be in your list. And from here, you can manage them. So if you add them into your system and then you're like, oh, what's my next steps with the lead? Well, one, you can add different various actions. So you can have more things, who's going to do what and when, and tracking that progress of the lead. But on the flip side, you can send them a triaging form. So the beauty of Seamlss is you can send them a form. So you can put in some details, add in one of your forms. So in this case, I've got a lead form, and maybe it's a new business structure lead. So in that form, the client will answer a bunch of questions about a new business opportunity. That will send them the form, they click on the link, and then they fill out the form. That is one way to triage a lead within Seamlss. And I think that's a common way that a lot of firms will just get a lead, ring them, book them in, and then waste a lot of time seeing whether they are a good fit or not. If you're triaging them, utilizing the forms, you can get rid of the tie kickers pretty quickly. Now, based off all of that, there is a way you can skip it. So, and that's with a lead link. So when you have these custom lead links, you can turn them into anything, put them on the website, put them on your email to collect those referrals and leads. You can allocate different referral links with different people. So you could give Tom one referral link and Bob another one, and then you know where they're coming from in which linking process. Now, in today's webinar, I'm going to show you an example with my own website for Business Edge Advisors and what we've done. So when the clients want to book a new client meeting with me, they go book a meeting, and then they go, oh, I'm looking for a new accountant. I sure am. And then they click on the book meeting button. And then they're going to fill out the information here. I've got to put in Clayton Smith, that'll do. And I'll get my email address from over here. And we'll put in my phone number. And then that will submit. And now they're going to start the process of doing the lead form. So that will send Clayton an email. And that's just going to come through in a second. Hopefully I filled out the email correctly. Technology for the win. I did fill it out, didn't I? Gmail, yes. Try again. That's because, yes, should have worked. What am I missing here? Clayton, Sam Smith, Gmail. Is it going to the, there it is. Here it is. Here's my email. So as Clayton Wood is the client, it has now come through, and I'm going to click on the link and get started as an onboarding process. So as I fill out this as a new client, I'm triaging potential clients to my firm, Business Edge Advisors, to see their trading name, their ABN, are they up to date with their GST, what lodgements are they up to date with them, who's their current accountant, what's their turnover, asking some of these key questions to see if they're a good fit for my firm and triaging them out of the process if they're not. And this is a key aspect with any lead that you're triaging through your business, is because you want to know if it's going to be a good fit for your firm. So once they've come through that lead link process, they'll be on my lead link list. And then actually at the end of that, they get a link and they click on that, and then they can book a proactive accounting meeting with me through Calendly. So they're stepping through my process without me having to do all the work or my admin team. I'm not saying it's for every firm, but the whole idea of this is we're all busy enough, so we're trying to automate that process as much as possible. So the lead links are quite easy to adapt, as I showed before. You can customize the landing page, add different forms. You can have one or many forms, and then the landing page at the end when they've completed, and then you put the button to Calendly or your booking system in the lead link. That is lead links from sort of start to finish. If I go back to the list, if the client was good and I met the client and said, yeah, this is a good start, let's get started, I want to engage them and onboard them. I can review and onboard the client from this position here and start doing the verification and collecting more information. Now, I'm going to end this part here with the lead links. Hopefully this improves your ability and ideas that you can start collecting leads, whether it's by word of mouth, via online, or whatever that looks like for your firm, to improve that process with your admin team. But if you're not using leads and you don't want to lose leads, you can just use Seamlss for onboarding. So for client onboarding with Seamlss, just click on the Add Client button. It's just that easy. So I'm going to put in some details here for my new client. Here's my email and the phone number. Don't remember off the top of the head. I'm going to do 0491 666 768. Here's Sam Smith. And we're going to type in Sam's warehouse. Cool. Add that. And off we go. So now it's just a matter of how am I going to identify the client. Now, with verification, we recommend utilizing the Stripe identity option because that'll do a biometric check on your license and the facial recognition. We're going to give that a whirl today because I've got a different phone. So for the first time, hopefully we can record this and get it online because you can't usually record a webinar and do it. Now, with the verification, we do have the link here so you can view the ATO options. You will notice that with the options and the methods, it talks about the methods here. You'll notice one key thing, it says to do a source DVS option and visual and confirming data points against the ATO. It doesn't just say send a DVS and you're done. It says this and this. So you're going to minimum verify multiple points of information from the ATO against the data you collect. And Seamlss allows that by getting more source identity documents when onboarding a client. Now, oops, back over here. Next, I want to add a form. So when I'm onboarding clients, I want to make sure that I'm collecting new client form information as well. So in this case, I'm going to get some new business information. So about your business. I'm going to give the form a name and I'm going to collect some more information from the client. We do have an ITR form and I'll go over that in a minute. Now, with the new TASA changes, we are implementing the customization option for your engagement letters on the fly. So when you're adding a client, you can use a default template. So if you're just doing a standard thing, you can do that too. But you can actually customize the template for that client. So obviously with TASA, you've got to outline all of the different scoping things and you'll be able to change these on the fly for that client as you send it out. So it doesn't just have to be a set standard terms and conditions. It can be the terms and conditions for that client for whatever reason it needs to change according to your TASA requirements. So today I'm just going to leave it as a standard and then I'm going to add the client and send it off. So that's it. So I've added the client, added his entities, do the verification, selected an engagement letter and sent it off. That client will now get an email. So if I just go back here, hopefully you can see my screen again. Here is my onboarding request to Clayton. Welcome to Example Advisory Services, and we're going to get started. So the emails come out. I'm going to get started, and I'm going to log in. So I'm going to get the code. So there's no passwords. It's all two-factor authentication and secured by 2FA codes, but it makes it really easy for the client to log in. So they don't need to remember a password. I don't know if you've ever used some other tools where you've got to log in with their things, but it can make it difficult. But on the flip side, there's other tools out there where it's just a magic link, and I also don't recommend that because if anyone steals the link over email, they also steal all of your information. You can collect additional information like where they were born, which can help when you're doing new companies and things like that. So put in my address. Aubrey. I'll try and do this as fast as I can. We do validate tax file numbers, so you do need to make sure that people have got a valid tax file number. Same with director IDs, and you can mark bank accounts as required as well, because at the end of the day, if you're doing a tax return, it's going to have the bank details on the front cover. Valid postcode. Cool. Oops. Done. Save. What's wrong with my postcode? Postcode. Am I picking the wrong one? Save. This one. Save. So we'll continue on. Now, the beauty of Seamlss is that you can do a ABR lookup. So we'll validate an ABN through various options. So most clients would know their ABN. So with the ABN, we will actually look it up online and import that into Seamlss. It'll pull in their ACN, the business name, and the state where the business operates. In this case, I'm just going to use one of my previous addresses, make it a bit faster for today, use the same address, and we'll put in a valid TFN. And I also need a bank account. 63. Done. So now I've got the company onboarded, and here's my fetch form of asking for additional information. So they might say, what's the name of the business, warehouse, is it registered? Again, these questions can be customized to whatever you want in the fetch form. You would do this based on your standard processes. A lot of firms have already got forms, so you can use ours and update them, or build your own if you want to. Now, with the Stripe ID, hopefully we get a win here and it just works, but I'll do my best. I'm going to start Stripe. I've got my phone here so I can scan it, and that's what it wants to do. It wants to do it on the mobile phone. I'll be honest with you, I am not an Android user, so I might need Daniel's assistance at some point. Camera. Winning already. Come on, phone. There it is. Scan the code. So normally the clients, they all do this on their mobile phone anyway. So they're not probably going to log in like this, but it does have that option. What am I missing, Daniel? This one work? iPhone. Ready. Allow. So I'm just going through the process on my phone to scan the different files and things that it wants. Hopefully this will allow us to do it today. I will do my best. So it's just uploading the license. So first you upload the front and then the back. I'm able to verify ID because I'm using fake licenses, it doesn't like it. See if it likes it this time. Obviously, if you're using a real license, this would be a lot simpler and faster. I'm not using a real photo because we're doing this online. Here's the back. Done. So it's still going through the process. Hopefully you can see that okay. So it's just uploading it through to Stripe. Submit the photo. Allow. Now it's going to take some photos of my face. So it's just going through here. And hopefully it'll process that. You can see that here. Hopefully you can see that. It's analyzing. Done. The verification is submitted, and then that's completed. So hopefully you can see now I'm back on the computer screen, but the client would normally just be doing this all through the web app and it'll all be fine. Now in this case, I'm going to also upload the client might upload a note of assessment or some other identifying item that you can use to validate them against the ATO. There is a guide here that links to Seamlss Help Guide that helps the clients to go through the process. We tried to make this as easy as we can for the clients. Now we've got to the end of the onboarding process for the client. sometimes you miss an entity. So the beauty of Seamlss is you can add another entity. So the client can continue on the process and adding their entities if you've missed one, like a trustee company, another trust or something like that. In this case, I'm going to continue on, go through. Here's my terms of engagement. I can draw the signature or I can type it in, but I'm just going to confirm I'm happy with that. There's my entities, my ABN, Clayton Wood, and complete that. So that's going to validate all of that for me. And we hopefully are done. Let's get back here on my phone. Yeah. So we come back to the dashboard. See that Clayton's request should be nearly done. Refresh. So what would happen is once Clayton's onboarded, engaged, it will send the admin team an email and say, oh, here's Clayton's request has come through from the notification. He's completed his process. So that's a signifying time that the admin team will come back and complete the onboarding and do the adding to the HEO portal. While we're on this screen, I'll come back to Clayton Wood. So as a client, this is what the client sees, obviously. You want them to do the client agent linking. We all know that client agent linking can be a pain in the butt, but with Seamlss, we've made it easy. So they can complete that process here. Most people have got a MyGov ID and they'll just continue on. They've connected it to their RAM, they'll just continue on. With Seamlss, if they don't, it's cool. It'll say no, it'll step them through the process. They can start MyGov ID here, it'll open up a new tab. If they haven't got strong, it'll suggest to ring the ATO to get that strong identity if they don't have a passport. I'm sure you're aware. Now, with linking the ATO, we're pulling the company details from Seamlss to tell the client to step through the process here. Obviously, you know, with trusts and the RAM, it doesn't connect. So again, it'll suggest to the client they might have to ring to get that connected. The beauty of this is that the admin team can also bring this up and go through the steps with the client. Then it'll say, here, nominate your agent. It's telling the client your tax agent details, pictured step by step, and in text format. And then at the end, once they've completed it, they can complete it. When they click updated linked entities, that sends the firm an email and says, Clayton's linked his entity. That's your signature to tell your team member to go in and add Clayton to the firm. So now Clayton's linked and he's done. So here he is here, Clayton Smith. Let's log in. And it's all completed. Here's all his addresses and his bank details. His entity's onboarded. Here's all the details here. Now, we know that client agent linking can be a pain. So we built a feedback loop within Seamlss. It turned out Clayton lied. He didn't agent link us. So we're going to update that. And then I'm going to send him a reminder. Done. So now Clayton will get an email reminder to go back and complete his agent linking. So what does that look like? Let's go back here. And you can see here, I've got an email reminder from the firm saying, hey, you haven't done your agent linking, can you go in there? It's listing the steps on a basic level, and it's also listing the entity, and then you view it, and then you can get started. And it logs them straight back in. So if I get that code, so if you, again, imagine you're a client and you've got to go through this process. This is the stuff that you want to make it really easy for the client. And then it's going to go through and say, here's the agent linking, go through that step-by-step instructions. I think it's because I've already done it and I was already logged in. So it'll go through and step them through the process just like you just seen me do before. So I'm going to go back over there. Come back into seeing everyone. Don't be shy if you've got any questions, put in the questions. Daniel is in the chat moderating and he'll help. Now, with ID verification, how do you do ID checks in Seamlss? We do have a whole help guide right here that'll help the admin team step-by-step go through the process. And in addition to that, it'll also list all of the different items you can utilize to check the ATO verification process against the ATO documents. So with this one, it's still processing the Stripe DVS. It should come back with an error because it was obviously a fake, dodgy license. But with the other identity document, you can view the file and go, yeah, that is their TFN. I've validated that document electronically, confirm it, and that it's not dodgy and it's good. And then that if you don't action it within 7 days, we delete it. So we don't keep the ID documents just as much as you shouldn't. Now, I have noticed a couple of apps in the space that do save the license. You don't have a requirement to save the license. And from a security point of view, I don't recommend you save people's ID documents. So we'll mark that as verified. And then you've got the log of who, what, where, when. It was all verified by your team. You can export the verification logs of all of your clients or one client within Seamlss. Any forms that they filled out are in there as well, any files they've uploaded. And then you can also get the documents and get them out of Seamlss, put them in your document management solution. The other beautiful thing is you've got Dropbox now integrated. This weekend, I think we're going live with Google Drive and OneNote. FYI, Docs is not far away as well. That is currently working, testing in the background. So hopefully we'll release that very soon as well, once we get approval from FYI. History, so who did what, where, and when, and we can obviously delete the client if they're no longer a client anymore. Now, from here, imagine this whole process from start to finish. So if you've got the client, you've sent it off, they've keyed in all their details, done their agent linking, you've verified their identity, and now you're going to push them to XPM. So the admin team member hasn't done a whole lot of work in between the start of the process and the end of the process from a whole lot of data keying and back and forth. The client has keyed in all their details, done their engagement letter, done all the things you need to do to onboard that client from start to finish. You've basically eliminated a whole lot of work for the admin team, and that's why admin teams love Seamlss, is because it's doing a whole lot of the work for them. It's not the client experience. They're not going from one app to another. Now, during that process, Seamlss just looked up this client and is trying to match them based on names. So is it a match? And then it's getting partial matches on names and things like that. Maybe it's a new client, and you can just say that it's a new client, and then you can add them. If it's a company, go back. So in this case, you can push and pull new information. You can obviously see that Kermit is not a real person, but you could just say it's a new person. Oh, hang on, come back here. It's up here. And then you can match it. And you can push data or you can pull data to update it in the system. With the company, again, based on the email and the address matches, it's trying to match it on different parts. Why are we doing this? It's because we want XPM as your single source of truth. We want admin team members to be able to match up entities and individuals as closely as they can. So with the company, it's matched on an address. So clearly it's not Kermit the Frog, it's not an individual, it's not Refund Express, this is a new company. So we'll just sync that as a new company, and that will push it into XPM. If I do this one, new individual. So if I do new individual, and I'm going to sync that to XPM, it will push it in to XPM. Oh, couldn't say the tax file number already exists. Because I'm using a standard tax file number, it's already matchy-matchy. Let's update Kermit the Frog and see if that will work. Done. So now it's updated the client, and I'm going to view it in XPM. Again, the idea is to keep XPM as your single source of truth. It's putting in all their TFN, ABN, ACNs, contact information, and from this point, you can start a tax return. I'll admit, there's no API within XPM to bring in bank account details, but we did account for that by allowing you to quickly copy and paste the bank account details. Hopefully, that'll get updated soon enough. I don't believe there is any new APIs within XPM for the last 10 years, so fingers crossed on that one. Now, we've onboarded Clayton, re-announced, and let's imagine that we've gone forward a whole year. Clayton's been a client for a while now. We want to re-engage him. So re-engaging process for firms, usually it's the client drops off the information, maybe you're emailing them templates and different things like that. A lot of firms don't have any process around confirming clients' details, and that's where Seamlss comes in. Seamlss can engage the client. So the client will get the email, they'll confirm their details, and they can give you documents. We've got further document enhancements coming out soon as well. You got the financial statements. So in this case, we're going to collect the end of financial year information from the client. I'm going to add that in. Maybe the client had a rental property. So let's just put in the rental property. So you can give the form names different names. so the client can speak to the client a bit better. Maybe add a capital gain. So add the capital gain. And you can keep stacking more and more forms to collect that information to do the annual financial statements. So the idea is that Clayton's going to confirm his details, give us the information to complete the tax returns in March or something. And now we're going to select the engagement letter and save and send it for re-engagement. So let's just send that off. We'll go back to the dashboard as a firm. I'm going to mark that off as done. And now I think we can go back to Clayton's email here. So I'm a client again. It's February. The advisory firm is going to call in my job. It's like, oh, they want to re-engage. Cool. I'm going to view the request, and as a client, I'm going to log in securely and complete the request. So here it is here. 23163 done. So the client is now logged in, and they're going to confirm their details. So most firms have no process around confirming details unless it's over email. And how are you doing that securely? I don't know. But if you use Seamlss, here it is here. So they can confirm the details, yes or no. So if the details changed, nah, continue on. Same with the entity. Most clients, it never changes. And now we can start uploading different documents and things like that. So in this case, I'm just going to upload some random things like this. So depending on what the client's going to answer, depends on what's in your template as well. And that will continue along for the client. Now you could use this for individual tax returns. You could use it for, like I said, rental properties, things like that. So here's the rental property. How much rent did we receive? $15,000. Let's just make up some expenses here. Lots of money there being spent. And then save and continue that. Capital gains, so maybe you needed the settlement statements, legal fees. You can mark these as required as well to make it more, not difficult, but make sure that the client is actually giving you the documents you want. So you can, again, customize these to suit your firm. So now the client has confirmed his details, given us the information we want. They can continue to add another entity if they needed to, but in this case, I'm just going to continue on and sign. So here's my engagement letter again, that the client's going to agree to all the different terms and conditions that I've got. And I'm going to sign. There's my entities, signature, complete, done. So from that whole process, I've now re-engaged Clayton, confirmed his details, and I've gotten documents to start the job. So in Business Advisors, I believe this process has sped up our processing times and lodgement goals. I think we're sitting on 60% or something for lodgements for this year, which is our best position ever for February. So that's going to sign the engagement letter, and then the client is done. Done there. So client's done. And now if we come back into the firm view, notice that the action is coming. There we go. So now Clayton, emails come into the admin team. They're like, oh, Clayton's completed his request. Go in and start doing it. Cool. I'm going to mark it off as done. View the client. I'm going to go in. You can push the details and update XPM if the client did update their details. We don't need a verification or the entities, but the forms, we'll want to download the different files and things like that. Obviously, if you're using Dropbox, those files will just flow across, which is awesome. And here's all the other entity documents that we've got. We want to get those and start the job. So from this point, we've now updated details, got a signed engagement letter and the documents to start a job, not just off whatever the client's dropping off and forgotten. That's the whole point of the re-engagement function with Seamlss. Okay, so we've re-engaged, we've onboarded, we've done leads. What's next? Maybe you just want to collect some information. So you can do a quick fetch form. So you could select one of your templates, or you can ask your own questions one by one and build out the questionnaire from the various options that you've got that you might want. But generally, you're asking for the same stuff all the time. So it might be just like, send me your bank statements and things like that for the BAS. And that way you'll get started doing that. And you can send that quick fetch off and away you go. What is it doing? Why isn't that one? Go back here. There we go. And again, from this screen, you can delete things, you can move them around, you can edit them, you can mark them as required, depending on what you needed. Now, one other thing I did want to touch on today is individual tax returns. So if you're doing a lot of individual tax returns, we do have this amazing tax return form. So with the tax return form, you can't edit this, but we're looking to make some ability to edit it in 2025. But basically, the client will put in their job description based on the ANSIC codes. Depending on how they answer it will dictate what questions they're going to answer. You can upload the pre-fill so they can view and download their pre-fill. They can agree to it or not agree to it. And then they can continue on. They can add their income items. They can attach files, put the information in there. They can do one or many. It's really, really easy. It's all like a work paper as well. It's yes, no, because we want the client to confirm that they don't have something or they do have something. And that way we've got something to fall back on and say, well, you didn't give it to us. You said no. So, depending on the way they answer will dictate the different ways that they put the information in. You can use the simpler fetch forms to just collect deduction information. But as I said, if you want an ITR solution, this is it for you. And you can utilize this from a client smart link as well. Now, you might be thinking, what's client smart link? That's a good question. Smart links are what can eliminate some of these processes altogether. This is the power of Seamlss 100%. So if you have a tax planning meeting coming up, you could use a smart link to collect the tax planning information. So in this example here, the client will click on the link and they'll land on the page and then you'll start collecting the information. Now, if I log into this as Sam Smith, Control-C, Control-V, and then I've got to put my phone number in. It will start the process automatically. Get the code. Oh, that should have given me the code. Yep. So it still asks for codes to keep it all secure. They can't just randomly log in. And then I'm going to start keying in the information. So the client, you've sent out the smart link via an email to maybe 10 or 20 clients to do a tax planning session, sorry. Maybe it's a part of your Calendly solution as well, which is what I'm going to do in mine. The client will book in and then they'll get a link from Calendly to fill in the tax planning questionnaires. And the idea is that when I have a tax planning meeting with a client, I've got some good answers. Again, you're going to add an engagement letter to the signing of the tax planning session. So you might have a bill attached to that tax planning session. So therefore, they're signing the engagement letter with that built in. And I'm going to complete that and that's done. So the beauty of that is that the client has now completed the tax planning process. I'll admit, I just did that in Google Chrome, so I have to log out and log back in again. I just log in using Xero, like I said. Boom, just that easy. Now you can see here, where did it go? Should have come up here as an action item. Maybe I didn't, maybe I jumped out too quick, Daniel. It should come up here as a Clayton's completed the process. And then if you go in as Clayton, here's the form here, tax planning questionnaire. So there's all my answers, even though I didn't answer them. The idea of this is that you can speed up the process of collecting data. Now with the client smart links, there's a whole bunch of different options here, but you can onboard a client automatically. So if you're using tools like Ignition, at the end of the Ignition process, there's a next steps. You can have a client smart link so they can click on the link after the proposal is signed, and then they can start onboarding with Seamlss. You can put these links anywhere. You could have a QR code in your office that talks about smart links. Now I've got a help guide here that goes all the way through it, and you can view these. I've got another YouTube video there as well. But the idea is that you can use QR codes to put them anywhere in the physical world. You can embed them on your website. You can put them in email campaigns. You can send them through SMSs, Zapier, proposal tools, social media, anywhere you want to put these links, you could put them securely, start onboarding clients and engaging them automatically. Start collecting tax return information automatically. So as the client's going through your process in your firm, you can guide them through it without having to have too much more interaction from the team. Now, that is client smart links. Now the forms, you can edit the forms, you can add your own forms. We have a whole lot of templates in there for you to get started. You can copy, duplicate delete them, edit them, do whatever you need to do. Next, I'll touch on briefly templates. So you can obviously have all the different templates. Build out your engagement letters. We recommend just copying and pasting the ones you've already got. You should have something for your firm. Now, a lot of people say, oh, can't you provide a template? I can provide the templates, but the recommendation is you go to your membership organization, Kanza, CPA, IPA, NCAA, whatever it is that you've got, download their template and edit it for your firm. Every firm is different. Everyone uses different locations, different tools, different software. And according to the TPD, that all needs to be engagement letters. So make sure you've got that and customize it yourself. We do have a lot of tokens that you can sprinkle throughout the engagement letter to make it your own and connect it with the client. Now, settings-wise, just to briefly touch on this, add your own branding, integrations with Dropbox, XPM, Ignition, Logit, things like that. So a lot of firms are using Logit now as well, because Logit pulls data in from Xero and QuickBooks and MyOb, and then you can create different work papers and outcomes there as well. So you can actually export data using the data center within Seamlss. So you can import clients, but you can also export the data to different tools like Logit as well. Setup, super easy. Now you can customize and start doing it yourself. It takes about half an hour, 20 minutes. You can set up a success session with me and book in with that. That's just here. To get started with Seamlss, just click on the Get Started button on our website right here, start for free. It's really not that hard. There is a whole bunch of live interactive demos on the website if you want to test this out for yourself as well. So on this demo screen here, these are the client smart links and client lead links and things like that we have. So if you clicked on this, you'd actually be able to test it out from a client position using your phone number and email. Here is some lead link examples. Again, I don't mind if you R&D a bit of this for your own website. There's some webinars and things online for you to review with your team if you need to. Pricing wise, so the pricing for our software, annually $600 a year, that gets you 1,200 requests. Now, one request could be Clayton, his 5 entities and his engagement letter. That's still just one request. If you do want to do it monthly, it's $60 a month for 100 requests. There's a whole bunch of FAQ questions here. So Stripe DVS is an extra $5, but we do recommend it because it does the biometric checks for you. That includes all the different links, tools within Seamlss. There's no limitations within that range on that price. You get access to all of the tools and software within Seamlss. Coming soon, we'll be updating our meetings platform, FYI docs, and some other cool stuff is in the pipeline. I think that's about it. Can you customize data fetching forms per client? The various data fetching feed into Xero tax return. You can't push data to Xero tax returns into XPM because there's no API for that. The idea is that we're just collecting the data so that it can make it a lot faster. So I know with my firm, the clients will be onboarded in Xero Practice Manager, pre-filled from the ATO before I even sit down with them to have a meeting. So I'm not asking questions about some of the stuff that we've already collected beforehand. You can customize the fetch forms singularly when you send a quick fetch, but when you're stacking the forms on an engagement letter for now, you can't edit them on the fly like that. You would have to customize it for the client and then send it out. So if you did a quick fetch, you could customize this form on sending it out. Manually added leads. Is it possible to get a lead notification? What do you mean by that? You want managers and stuff to get notifications. I'll leave that one for Daniel. I think that could be done. Yes, I think that's a good idea. We can add some notification for lead prospecting. I'll talk to Daniel about that after this. Thanks for the feedback. So I think what you're saying is when a lead hits the lead list, you want that notification that there's a new lead added to the system in your inbox. Is there any other questions? Yeah. So I'll talk to Daniel. I don't think there is a notification yet, but that's a great idea. So I'll see if he can whip one of them up for us. Yep, love it. In the client page details, when editing a partner account manager, Seamlss is currently set up so the partner cannot be a standard account manager. Is this possible outside of practice? So you're saying when you add someone, can they be a partner and a manager? I thought they could be. So you're saying here, like that? I'll let Daniel take note on that and check to see if there's any issues there. You can also reach out after this to make sure that we're aware of what you're trying to achieve there. Is that just in the leads function? Well, it's already client details page. So with the clients area, partners and managers in this respect, we're going to continue to build it out with further deeper thinking around XPM groups and things like that. So you expect to see in the coming months more around partner manager and client details. Yeah, we have things in the pipeline to improve partner manager relationships within what's displayed on the screens and things like that. So yeah, there's more to come. Any other further questions? I probably should go back and view my my presentation. See if I can find it. Here we go. Where are we up to? So have we covered everything? Just want to make sure. So hopefully by now you now know what Seamlss is. You can see that the workflows can be simplified, so they're not going through different apps. The client experience is the same. It's one app that will do everything for most firms, from onboarding, ID check, and engagement, and collecting documents. Obviously, we have eliminated and automated a lot of processes. Now, we notice a lot of our other firms, they are utilizing the leads now because they're finding that it's a lot easier to manage the leads if they're in one place that everyone can see. Yeah, you got further questions? I think that's about it. I can wrap it up. Today's was a lot longer session, but I wanted a longer, deeper demo to go over all of the aspects of Seamlss and all of the tools. Hopefully you now see that you can utilize those lead links, utilize the client smart links, and utilize pushing the data around from Seamlss with a lot of validation happening in the background. Thanks everyone for attending. Hopefully you can all eliminate and automate your firms going forward. Thanks. See you later. By all means, I'll stop the recording now. If you want to ask questions or jump in, I'll stick around for